Hey there, friends and enemies, JoPaWrites here again, and today I wanted to do a roundup of news we've gotten from Remnant 2 developers on the future of the game, not only DLC, but quality of life upgrades and the like. So jumping right into it, one of the things we're going to see is that if you create a brand new character, you will be able to purchase all of the archetype items that you have unlocked on your main character, on your second and third character as well. That's going to be a nice little quality of life change. It's still going to cost materials. However, at least you're going to have access to all of your different archetypes that you've unlocked available right from the beginning of the game in Remnant 2. So I think that's going to be a massive change that a lot of people are going to be excited about. They also talk about crossplay. They confirm that there are challenges to making crossplay happen, but they're actively working on the feature. And I think that's massive because crossplay would be a great benefit to Remnant 2 and the longevity of the game. Right now, everyone's excited. It's new, it's fresh. Things are going very well with Remnant 2, and it's a perfect time to try to capitalize on that by having crossplay implemented sooner rather than later. This will allow players who are across multiple platforms to be able to play with each other. It would also keep the player base fresh as less players log in. You don't want it to feel empty when you're trying to load into co-op. So over the course of months as you're playing the game, you want those co-op zones to feel as healthy as possible, have as many people as possible playing, and that's going to feel better when there is crossplay and you're pulling from PlayStation, PC, etc., etc. So I think that's massive, and hopefully it's something they're able to drop in sooner rather than later. Next up, they talk about how Rom from Remnant from the Ashes is one of the favorite locations of the developers, and they would like to go back there in one of the DLC. I think this could be very, very interesting, and I think especially if we have 3 total DLC, 2 of them being brand new locations, 1 of them being a returning from the Ashes location, I think would be perfect. A little bit of nostalgia with a bunch of new stuff, maybe new weapons, implement all that into Remnant 2, I think could be fantastic. And I think it'll be good payoff to see what the culmination of that location from the first game looks like in Remnant 2. So I think that would be awesome, and I would personally love to see it. Rom is inspired by the Dune franchise, which is very interesting to me. I love Dune as well, so I think that could be something that works out really, really well. The loadouts are on the list of quality of life improvements. That would be absolutely massive. I know a lot of players struggle to put together builds because you have to kind of adjust everything every single time, and it's kind of a pain to go through all of your rings, amulets, weapons, armor, every single little thing in order to adjust your loadout instead of just swapping 1 or 2 things here or there. So loadouts would be phenomenal and a massive quality of life improvement in my opinion. They're also looking into adding armor and transmogs in a Remnant 2 DLC. I think that could be absolutely huge as well, because I think the appearance of everybody right now is pretty similar because most people are going to be running similar armor sets or armor pieces based on what is the strongest. So having everybody have their own flair in the future could be absolutely massive. And I would definitely like to see transmog be a thing in Remnant 2. I'd also like to see them get crazier with some of the armor sets as well. If we got some DLC armor sets that look absolutely wild, and it wouldn't matter what their stats are necessarily, you could rock it regardless as long as you have transmog available. That would be huge for me personally. I would love to see it. So then we've also got co-op latency issues are in Remnant 2. The team is looking into it. I think this is going to happen sometimes. I've been killed a few times by one of the flying creatures grabbing me and bringing me up. I'll spam the square button and it won't matter. It'll still kill me even though I've got the little bar filled. So I hope that that is adjusted in the future, because my favorite thing in the game is to run this co-op with friends and to really enjoy my time running around with them, exploring everything I possibly can, finding secrets together and all that kind of good stuff. And having some latency issues can definitely be a bit of a pain, but I know it's easier said than done. So hopefully that is something that do get worked on going forward, and I would love to see that be fixed for sure. Then we've got what was David's inspiration for Remnant 2. This is where he talks about Dune. Personally love Dune and have read all the books, so you'll see a lot of Dune inspiration in the game. I think Neyrud is a perfect example of that, and I like it. I like having the inspiration, but definitely Remnant 2 feels like its own thing, which is awesome. So it says, I read a lot of books and played a lot of D&D in my youth. So personally, I just love crafting new worlds and world building in general. That's why Remnant is set up the way it is with the world happening in red crystals. It lets us do whatever we want each time you go into a new world. Now, again, I think that's one of those things that I really enjoy about Remnant is that the world feels so different from location to location. Even when you go into like say you're in Yesha and you go from the open world into one of the dungeons and it just feels very different. This is even more so the case in Lossum when you go from like the palace type areas into the gutters, the slums, and the back alleys. So I think that's something that I really enjoy, and I'm glad that they did that because it really feels like they allowed their creativity to take over with a lot of these locations, and I love that personally. So I'm really glad to see that. And then overall, I'm excited about this. I also wanted to kind of do a little bit of speculation here at the end with the DLC. I mentioned before I would like to see 2 new locations and then 1 returning. I would also like to see a returning weapon from Remnant from the Ashes, maybe buffed and upgraded or adjusted, as well as a returning boss that is iconic. So let me know in the comments down below what boss, what location, or what weapon would you love to see from Remnant from the Ashes into Remnant 2 that would really get you hyped. So I know most of us want new stuff, and I'm sure they're going to do the majority of things new in the DLC, and so that's going to be great. But nostalgia is also fun, so hopefully they do add some old favorites as well. Anyway, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Helps me out tremendously. Shows you want to see more Remnant 2 content from me. Game has been an absolute blast. I absolutely have been loving it. Subscribe to the channel. The growth has been insane with the game too. So let me know in the comments down below. Also, if there's any other types of content you want to see from me. Anyway, I hope you have a good one. I'll catch you all later. Have a good one.